Who has paperwork? Where are you? I have limited pills left to deal with your bull. There it is. Really feels like working back in the office. Yeah, it does. It's really good. Yes! Bravo. Bravo.
The theme for the Vimjam 2 game jam was on the edge, with the requirement of a boss. I felt that these two separate ideas instantly went hand in hand. We all know a shitty boss or have been in some kind of work environment. When we put these two things together, we end up with one central idea: stress. Now, if you don't want the ending of the game spoiled for you, I suggest you go and play it first before coming back to this video. Otherwise, the first thing that popped into my head when I read the theme reveal was a disgruntled employee smashing their boss over the head with a keyboard. So I wanted to figure out how they got there. For this jam, I decided to work alongside my friend Sam, who assisted with design and music. When the theme was revealed, we began discussing what ideas we had. We both had something similar about doing tasks in an office environment, but agreed that the stress meter and management element that I thought of was the key ingredient. Since this is the first thing that came to our minds, it meant that there will be a lot of other entries with the exact same premise. So I had to nail the execution to stand out and make sure stress was integrated into the gameplay as some kind of mechanic, core experience and feeling instead of something that's one-dimensional like a setting. We both spent the day solidifying the idea, keeping any potential other ideas open just in case. While Sam wrote up a proposal, I began creating the aesthetic and character movement. By the end of the day, we had decided that this is what we wanted to do and then committed to the idea. So I present Intern, an intern's guide to maintaining internal rage. I also really wanted to see how many times I could fit intern into the title. Okay, so I didn't want to start testing the game with a bunch of blocks because that's just a really hard way for me to work on the vision of a game. In this case, the game is just about running around a maze-like environment, interacting with things. We've all been in a maze before, we know they're fun. The only issue was fetch quests, which are not. There was also a ton of systems to get in place regarding random generation, which would be a couple days before a prototype would even be up and running. I'd rather get the look and feel of the game first while creating the systems along the way as I needed them. To help maintain stress other than completing tasks, the player will find the following power-ups. Painkillers, which are pretty straightforward. You collect them, store them in your inventory, and then press Q to consume. There is a restraint on how many you can use at a time, just like real life. Most painkillers are recommended to every certain amount of hours. There are two little icons in the UI that highlight when you currently have them in your system. When a slot clears, you can then take another. Alcohol behaves like painkillers but reduces more stress at the cost of running slower and being unable to pick up any items. The beer icon will appear in the UI to indicate that you are intoxicated. It was originally planned that the player would automatically lose when in range of other staff members, but we ran out of time to implement it. So I thought it would be hilarious and totally in tone with the game to leave this line in and scare some people from a threat that doesn't actually exist. Cups of coffee are also scattered all over the floor. These do not collect to your inventory and are instantly used. They will give the player a short speed boost while also reducing stress. Since in most cases, the player will have to take multiple trips around the level, smarter players can strategize by only using them when needed and not just consuming them as soon as they see them. Next up with the NPCs, almost all of the tasks involved in the game will involve interacting with an NPC. Since we're dealing with random generation, I created 25 simple sprites of different office workers. Now to save massive amounts of time, instead of animating them all individually like a dumbass, I just created a simple squash and stretch animation in Unity. Then I just created a simple script that randomly selects one of the 25 sprites from an array when they're spawned in. All over each map are a bunch of spawn points that get filled in by instantiating a set number of NPCs. Each NPC can now be assigned one of many different states from the game manager. They can receive paper, give paper to the player, receive coffee, chat, or just idle. Since the core part of the gameplay is searching for these NPCs, I tried to make an extremely clear pop-up box that appears above their heads depending on what state they're in. So chat NPCs will operate differently. They aren't exactly task-driven and provide the player with a potential chance to gamble at reducing stress. Just like real life, we've all experienced workplace chit-chat. They will present dialogue that will either be nice, mean, or just time-wasting. With nice and mean either reducing or increasing stress, while time wasters don't do anything other than just waste your time. There are about 70 different lines that Sam wrote for the NPCs, so each player should get something quite unique. Created it so that chat NPCs pop-up indicators don't appear until they're within range. This helps them blend in with idle NPCs. Since they aren't required to complete tasks, it keeps them out of the way of important pop-up boxes. The best part about the game manager I created is that it can change an NPC state at any time as long as their interaction task has been completed or that they're idle. If the game manager needs to assign a task, it can search for an available NPC very easily. Next on the to-do list was creating a bunch of trash cans that get randomly set to being full for the player to collect. In a coffee machine you have to start and then wait for it to finish brewing before the player collects and then delivers them to the NPCs. Once that's done, I created a boss's office as a hub world who will assign you jobs. In between all of this, I've also managed to run around my house to collect a few sound effects too. I just used a jar of whatever is in here for pills, this bag of trash, this bottle to create a series of noises, and then I just recorded the sound of my kettle for the coffee machine. And when the player is in the hub room, we also want to have ambient sounds and create a good atmosphere while the music plays during gameplay instead. So I just set up my microphone and played this ringing noise in different parts of the room, created the distant sound of coughing, added some keyboard clacking, and then layered the sound of this fan over the top of it all, just like a real office. After about 7 days worth of work, I then created the first level using the format system, placed some of the decorations, assigned how many of each task there were to be generated using the system I made, placed some power-ups, and played my first game. The music composed by Sam kicked in, I ran around doing some tasks, and then after completing it, I had a sigh of relief, because it was actually kind of fun. For the first level I kept it rather simple and just expanded the testing space a little more, added an additional room down below and created the coffee machine space more integrated into the first room. This level is a lot more open and easier to see everything, helping the player get used to the core gameplay loop while learning the first couple of tasks. After enough testing I moved on to make 2 more levels in about 2 hours each per map. The second level gets more complicated, upping the amount of NPCs, introducing the rubbish task and the alcohol power-up. I created this main room that runs in a circle with an additional 3 rooms shooting off. The third level once again moves up in size and number of NPCs and then introduces the printer task. Now I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have any technique to designing these levels, I just drew some random shapes on the floor that got bigger each time with more rooms, then I tried to interpret how these spaces would be filled in an office. Now the third level was where things got interesting. After I playtesting it, it was actually kind of hard, which means anyone who's not me, that being the person who made the game, will find this extremely hard. This is when I brought in my playtesters. I managed to get my fiancée, Danielle, and her brother Simon, and then I also got Sam to do test runs of the game as well, who all called the third level a massive difficulty spike. So I spent some more time adding additional items to the level, playing around with how fast stress rises, then I adjusted the stress reduction on items and how long the player stayed intoxicated for. By the end of the day, all 3 of them managed to finish the game without finding it too easy. So once I finished polishing on the last day of the jam, I submitted it, and during the jam I continued to get ratings and amazingly nice comments, and then it happened. Vimlark himself played the game. Only had 1 day and 1 chance to do it too. I was lucky enough that on the only day I could join the live stream, I was drawn out of the raffle. My heart was racing and I got really excited, and this is what he had to say.
Well formatted. Following may shock you. We took a documentary crew to follow around interns all day. Oh, it's gone. Explore our work environments. Welcome, Mr. 3418. Take your time, no rush. It's your first day after all. That sounds like an absolute lie to me. Walk around and see what we got here. The art's great. I love the style. Coffee. I gotta find the coffee machine first. Coffee. E. Okay, let's start that going. You got for me, thank you. Nice indicators too, it's really clear which ones I need to talk to. Oh, there's some pick-me-up. Yeah, let's get you. Why am I shaking? Oh god, am I freaking out? Oh, it was my stress level. Okay, the stress level, that was starting to stress me out actually. Day 2. Oh, what a nice way to do this. I do wish I didn't have to use the mouse, just because nothing else needs the mouse. But minor thing. I don't like drinking. Well, let's get it anyway. Garbage. I'm worried about using the alcohol now. Do I need to use it not in sight of people, or am I gonna get in trouble if I use it when people see me? Oh, did I not even find the coffee machine? Oh god. Oh man, I failed horribly on that floor. I was doing really well at first, and then I just got completely distracted. It's like a real job. There's where the rest of the people were that I needed. I just totally missed this section. Okay, let's drop my stress levels. Return that. My inventory's full. Okay, what if I drink? Oh, I move slower. And then back to the boss before I stress out. Cool. Okay, I'm getting it. I heard you're one of those computer people. No, I just grew up freaking old people. Yeah. Take that, old people. I gotta make coffee too. Hey, it's a monkey. It's a me. It's a me, a blue monkey. Oh, you're the one I gotta fix. My stress level's way low right now, so we're actually doing pretty good. I have to give out one set of paperwork. I'm like a drug addict. Who has paperwork? Where are you? Where are you? I have limited pills left to deal with your bull. There it is. There you are. Boss's office. Let's go. Oof. Oof. Really feels like working back at the office. Yeah, it does. It's really good. Yes. Employee 30-something, rather. Fortunately, we were not happy with your performance. You young millennials are just too slack. We're going to have to terminate your internship immediately. Can I murder him now? Did I just steal his keyboard? Yes! Bravo. 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 Frickin' beautiful. If you guys like to check it out. Oh my god. Oh, brah freaking vo. That was great. Like, super... The whole thing, well put together. Things were easy to see. I missed stuff at first, but I found most of it on my own. Like, I found most of it like, oh, that's why my inventory is doing that. So I was able to slowly build up and understand the UI pretty easily as well. Yeah, I mean, it built you in. Like, I lost one day, I think. Really, really well done. I'm really, really impressed with that. Super, super good.
This was in fact the highlight of the whole jam, and I couldn't be happier with the result and his reaction. As for the rest of the jam, this time round I got really involved by playing lots of great games. I created a small list of my top 5 games, which are Isletography, Tantalus, Midnight Heist, Armor of God, and Skeeter and the Skate Stump Showdown. I'd love to go into detail about each one of them, but this video is already getting very long, so just go check them out. You have my absolute word. So not everything went to plan. I actually had to cut quite a bit of content. I think I made the correct decision to stop content creation and spend the very last day of the jam polishing it. It was when I played the 3rd level I realized I had to stop. I originally planned 5, but at this point it was already getting quite long and I wanted to make sure everyone who played it could finish it in a respectable amount of time. There was also one last final task that got cut, where you would have to track down an NPC that has been locked out of their computer because they entered their password in too many times wrong. After finding them, you would have to use the elevator to go to the IT administration and do a minigame where you change their password and return to the same NPC with their new password. I also ran out of time to add some kind of mini-map of strictly the layout. There was also Among Us style mini-games that I planned for tasks like the printer. I also forgot to add a key binding to skip dialogue. I only realized that I forgot after I added it to submission, so sorry about that. Most of those things were prepared in the code and UI but never actually got utilized. That being said, there's still plenty of things I could add to the game, which makes me wonder if I could make a bigger, more commercial sized release with like 50 odd levels, but moving on. So there wasn't actually much I struggled with in the jam. The only thing I had to learn was incorporating interactables, which only took a few hours, and I was able to create very easy interactable scripts on the fly. Any bugs I encountered usually were very obvious and were fixed within a couple of minutes. Most of the time it was due to just forgetting a reference, miscalculation of certain things, or crashing Unity by getting stuck in a while loop and forgetting to create an exit. This game came out the way it did by sheer luck, like lightning in a bottle. So it's a very big redemption moment for me and what went wrong with my previous game jam. And as of writing this, I've actually just got the results for where we placed in the jam, which was 25th place overall and then 12 for the theme. So I'm like really happy about that and could be more grateful for everyone who rated and played. There's probably a ton of more stuff that I've left out of this video that I've completely forgot about, so if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask me or comment below or message me or whatever you want to do. If you played the game, let me know what you think too. Do you want more or a bigger release? And last of all, big loving thank you to everyone who played the game during the jam. I'm amazed by the amount of people who did. And also a big special thank you to Vimlark who hosted the jam. So bye for now.